Growing up, Cambodia Tzu Chi volunteers help clean the living environment of a care recipient. We learn how weather was predicted in the early days and see some of the equipment used for weather forecast. Welcome to Dar Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. First up in Cambodia, we join Tzu Chi volunteers as they help care recipient Han Davi and their family clean up their living environment in hope of inspiring the couple who are both alcohol addicts, quit their bad habits and take on their family duties.
Situated in an illegal settlement by the Phnom Penh International Airport is a row of corrugated iron houses tucked away alongside the railway tracks. This is also where Han Devi and her family live. Rice soaked in soup has become this family's usual diet. With the children unattended to and the parents drowning in alcohol, concerned for the struggling family, Cambodia Tzu Chi volunteers decided to help this family clean up their home. Those who came to help out included a care recipient who wanted to lend assistance as a way to give back to society and also bring some encouragement to the Han Devi home.
Bless you all, although I'm poor, with your help I feel very content.
As the cleaning begins, a little boy from the area borrows a chair from his neighbors and also joins in the cleanup work. Seeing this, Han Devi's mother-in-law and husband follow suit.
Quit drinking for the sake of your children.
Taking action is the start of a new lifestyle. Tzu Chi volunteers will continue to care for this family and hope that one day they will find their way back onto the right track.
After taking part in a volunteer training seminar in Hualien, volunteers from the Tzu Chi Malacca chapter in Malaysia returned home to begin a campaign to watch Master Cheng Yen's teachings in the morning. Meanwhile, Singapore Tzu Chi volunteers joined Hualien's Jingse bird through an internet conference in chanting a Buddha Sutra to pray for blessings for the 7th lunar month.
Through technology, the Tzu Chi Malacca chapter is able to connect with Hualien's Jingse bird and simultaneously listen to Master Cheng Yen's morning teachings. Having just closed up her business at 4 a.m., Wen Shu Feng nevertheless came to attend with her children.
It's not tiresome at all. As long as we strive forward, we will eventually get there.
Following closely in the footsteps of their Taiwan peers, Malacca Tzu Chi volunteers began a Watching Wisdom at Dawn initiative, which was attended by 54 people on its first day.
What Master Cheng Yen cares most about is the wisdom of her disciples and whether we have cultivated our wisdom. The only way to assure our master is to be diligent in our cultivation.
Huang Jinbao, who oversees sound control, is always the earliest one to arrive. Having had no previous experience, with the guidance of volunteer Zhen Guangfa, the two believe nothing is impossible.
This is the only time where us overseas disciples can simultaneously be with our Master and enjoy her teachings and Dharma.
Meanwhile, in Singapore, volunteers participated in an evening chanting of the Earth Treasury Sutra with those at the Jingse bird over the internet. Despite not knowing how to chant in Taiwanese, volunteers chanted the sutra in Mandarin with the same piety and sincerity.
As this is a sutra of filial piety, these merits can be dedicated to all beings, so I would like to dedicate these merits to Sister Hui Hui, who is currently ill.
Bodily pains are unbearable, so we are accumulating our love and praying for her to be in less pain.
Tzu Chi volunteers also promote the correct Buddhist practice of not burning just paper or making animal offerings.
Why burn just paper? You don't even know which realm your deceased parents are in. Do you think they will be in hell forever? I never burn just paper. Instead, I'll donate that money to charity.
As everyone comes together to pray for a harmonious society and a world free of disaster, the accumulation of great love and compassion is instantaneously manifested.
In Taiwan, as part of the effort in promoting vegetarianism, Bantao Tzu Chi volunteers prepared 6,000 meatless lunchboxes for employees of a local government agency. Through this special experience, many staff learned that vegetarian food can be both healthy and tasty.
Inside this Tzu Chi kitchen, volunteers are busy preparing vegetarian lunch boxes, which will be handed out to employees of a local government agency.
Tzu Chi has promoted the benefits of vegetarian food to members of the public for many years. This time we will prepare some vegetarian boxes for the public, so they will realize that meatless diets can be both healthy and delicious.
During lunchtime, everyone is eating Tzu Chi's lunch boxes with relish, enjoying the flavor and lightness.
Many of my co-workers say that they found vegetarian food to be quite delicious. If they had a choice between vegetarian and non-vegetarian food, they would choose vegetarian. Eating too much meat makes me more short-tempered. When I go on a meatless diet on weekends, my state of mind becomes more peaceful.
特别为大家准备了好几样的素菜，要请大家试吃哦。
Later, at a community tea gathering, Tzu Chi volunteers serve participants with a variety of vegetarian dishes. They also take to the stage to educate everyone on how to protect the environment through vegetarianism.
To help reduce residents' chances of being diagnosed with oral cancer, the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital has been spreading an anti-betel nut message in tribal villages, as well as working with companies to help their employees get rid of their bad habits. Let's take a look.
这个不只是引起这个口腔癌，这个整个牙齿都变成牙周病。
In Taiwan, oral cancer is the most frequently occurring cancer in adult males, as well as the second largest killer. Those who chew betel nuts are 28 times more likely to be diagnosed with cancer than those who do not. However, betel nut use in Hualien and Taitung remains high, with oral cancer occurrence rates often higher than the national average.
牙齿容易流血，然后发炎，然后拉不住嘛，洗了呢，那个吃槟榔都很容易哈。
Besides promoting an anti-betel nut message within the tribal areas, the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital had hoped for a more proactive approach to decrease the use of it. Each day before heading out for deliveries, each driver of this logistic company must sort and organize these piles of packages according to their delivery route. In facing work pressures, Lin Shizhong has his own way of releasing stress.
Previously, the busier I was, the more I wanted to chew betel nut.
Lin picked up the habit in high school. Now in his adult years, his betel nut chewing has continued for over 20 years.
I would just chew it throughout the whole day. I usually buy a bag about this big. Some days, it would even reach $280.
Among Lin's co-workers, there are over 30 drivers who have red-stained lips like him. Thus, his company, in cooperation with Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital, held a betel nut cessation class in 2011.
We realized there are many people who worked at our Hualien branch that chew betel nut. So we thought to put a stop to it and asked Tzu Chi to come teach us how to kick the habit.
After a month of classes, competitive activities, and supporting one another, out of the 35 drivers who participated in the program, only 3 have not given it up. For this logistic company, with the majority of their drivers no longer chewing betel nut, the changes has reflected well on their business.
Our customer reactions have all been positive. Some clients even called us to ask what method we use, as some of our drivers have had the habit for over 10 years. My health has improved, and it's like I got a raise, as I am not wasting money on buying betel nuts.
Oral cancer is a high-risk disease in many Taiwanese laborers, as chewing betel nut is a common habit. Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital has worked with companies in holding betel nut cessation classes, not only helping breadwinners save a little each month, but also helping them stay away from oral cancer.
Weather forecast technologies have well over a century's history, and Taiwan's Weather Bureau has long played a vital role in providing important information in regards to current weather conditions. Next, let's find out how weather was predicted in the old days. The Battle of Red Cliffs in the Han Dynasty, where Cao Cao was defeated by the allied force of Liu Bei and Sun Quan, was famous for Zhuge Liang's use of his knowledge of weather patterns to gain victory. The well-known Song poet Su Dongpo also described in one of his poets of how certain changes to our environment are signs of a coming typhoon or rain. Such examples show that even without advanced technologies, weather prediction was and is still possible.
太阳的节奏，还有温度跟下雨的节奏，甚至跟昆虫。
The pattern of the sun, temperature and rain, and even the amount of insects appearing are all linked to the weather. When we need to stay warm, drink water, or harvest food are all related to weather patterns.
The weather plays a vital role in our daily lives, and a good observation of weather conditions means that natural disasters can sometimes be a positive force. Chen Fu Lai, a retired technician who has worked at Taiwan Central Weather Bureau for 44 years, witnessed the establishment of the first observation station on Datun Mountain in 1930.
When the planes from Japan were flying over Datun Mountain to get to Songshan Airport, because they had to pass Datun, so over there they set up more equipment to collect data from air observations, which was then used by the military.
After the Second World War in 1945, to support their air force, the Taiwanese government set up weather stations in Yilan, Hualien, Taidong, Tainan, and Taichung, marking an important period in the nation's meteorology development. Today, at the Central Weather Bureau, one can still find equipment that has been used for over 3 decades.
When it is turning, the gear wheel beneath will move along, so it tells us the wind velocity. With these, we will be able to calculate wind speed. The old machines are not afraid of interference or electricity outages. This is something different from our modern-day technology.
The traditional detector required a large amount of manual labor, including the transmission and calculation of data collected. Even weather charts were drawn by hand.
In the old days, a weather forecaster was responsible for drawing a ground weather chart, and there were about 4 charts in a day, one every 6 hours. They needed to draw them according to different weather systems and then provide that information to the general public.
With today's digital technology, satellites are able to provide instant data to form detailed weather charts and reports. Though our climate is ever-changing, humans have managed to design equipment to keep us up to date. Over the past few years, Taiwan has worked hard to improve its tourism credentials, with many tourist hotspots getting a makeover. Today, we take a look at the roads leading to Ali Mountain, which in recent years has seen a huge increase in visitors. For the past 30 years, the task of maintaining the mountain's roads and keeping them safe for visitors has fallen to Li Shihua. It is a job, however, that is only getting harder.
In charge of the upkeeping of Ali Mountain's roads is this man Li Shihua. Whenever a landslide is reported, he will travel to the site to take measurements and then report back to the Directorate General of Highways.
This happened probably due to the amount of water. The volume of water exceeded the carrying capacity of the slope, and the landslide was the result.
Since the 70s, Li Shihua has been in charge of the maintenance of roads in and around Ali Mountain. With 30 years of experience under his belt, he knows where the weak links are. And following every typhoon, he's the first one on the roads checking for damage.
We have a contract with the Directorate General of Highways, so whenever a typhoon is seen approaching, we will be on standby. Probably it has to do with the changing weather patterns, but recently rain has been consistently heavier. with rainfall of 1,000, 2,000 to even 3,000 millimeters. The carrying capacity of the slopes of Mount Ali is around 1,000 to 2,000 millimeters. Typhoon Morakot, however, brought 3,000 millimeters of rain in 3 days, and the area was unable to absorb that much.
In addition to heavy rainfall becoming more frequent, the increasing number of tour buses in the area is also a worry for Lee. In the past, these roads were mostly used by locals, but the increasing number of tourists from China has changed all that.
像平常这个游览车一天都要100-200步都跑不掉，那个游览车都是陆客。
Overdevelopment of tourist areas is a problem. To get to the tourist areas of Dafang, Xinyi, or Taihe, you have to all take the same road because all of these areas are promoting tourism, which means that this entire zone is now being developed. Before, on this stretch of road, one would rarely see tour buses. Now in a day, we see everywhere from 200 to 400. Cherry blossom season, we sometimes see 400 and up.
Carrying hundreds of mainland tourists coming to see Mount Ali's charms, this road has become the main transportation pathway for the region. But the terrain in Mount Ali is fragile and road damage is frequent.
Most of the roads in Mount Ali run along areas of sandstone or shale. These areas degrade quickly and storms often bring landslides. That is a big problem as so many people use this road on a daily basis.
Ali Mountain has become a must-see destination for mainland tourists here in Taiwan, and it is Lee and the local government's job to make sure that they all reach the destination safely and without mishap. It is a hard job and one that is only getting harder.
Since 1998, Malaysia Tzu Chi volunteers began caring for the indigenous residents of Bukit Asu by providing them with food and aid supplies. As of June of 2013, Tzu Chi volunteers have held a total of 176 aid distributions in the village.
This time we will distribute aid supplies to 33 households. The supplies included this time are soap, instant noodles, and cookies. Next time we will probably provide them with instant noodles, cookies, and toothpaste.
As soon as the aid supplies are packed, volunteers are ready to start their journey. For the past 16 years, Malaysia Tzu Chi volunteers have been providing the indigenous people of Bukit Asu with countless relief items and love. In 1998, Tzu Chi volunteers first became aware of this village in Bukit Asu and realized that its residents lack basic daily necessities and food.
Before, local residents only ate rice with some salt. Sometimes they would harvest bamboo shoots and cook them with water. Back then, they didn't have bicycles or motorcycles. They basically had nothing. It was very difficult for them to travel if they need to work out of town.
For many of the villagers, Tzu Chi volunteers once made them uneasy because they didn't know the purpose of their visits.
At first, I was very uneasy when the volunteers came to our village. I didn't know the purpose of their visits. Now I'm very used to having the volunteers around. As long as you call me before your visit, I will happily welcome all of you. I will never forget all your kindness. Thank you so much.
With Tzu Chi's relief items in hand, local residents' lives have changed for the better. As of June of 2013, a total of 176 aid distributions have been carried out in the village. Since the locals don't have to sleep on empty stomachs anymore, Tzu Chi volunteers have decided to shift their focus.
In the future, we will focus on education. We hope to teach them how to live healthier lifestyles, improve their living environment and sanitation. Master Zheng Yan once said that only through education can we change the lives of those in greater need.
With compassion and wisdom in mind, Malaysia Tzu Chi volunteers have changed the lives of local residents. Yet remaining unchanged are their pure thoughts and simple hearts.
In Indonesia, Batam Tzu Chi volunteers arrived at Tanjung Pinang, the biggest city of Bintan Island, to promote Jingsi aphorisms to local residents. The volunteers said with courage and determination, these words of wisdom will slowly influence members of the public and help them change for the better.
Tanjung Pinang is the capital of Riau Archipelago. It is also the biggest city in Bintan Island. Today, Batam Tzu Chi volunteers and local volunteers are walking the streets to promote Jingsi aphorisms to local residents. In spite of the rain, the volunteers insist on carrying out the event, as this area can only receive Tzu Chi's information through emails and word of mouth.
Kata-katanya bagus.
Jingsi aphorisms are very inspirational, not only to Chinese people, but also members of the public from different social statuses.
Upon learning of Tzu Chi's philosophy, this hotel owner decided to adopt a bamboo coin bank.
It is great. I don't know how many coins my employees will put into the bamboo coin banks, but I will do my share and donate my spare change every day to help those in need. A little makes a miracle, so we need to do our share.
The event is also joined by a doctor who took some time out of his busy schedule to interact with the Tzu Chi volunteers.
I think this is a very meaningful thing to do. I believe we can contribute our share and help those in greater need by doing little things. Once we accomplish these little things, we can strive to do greater things and help even more people.
Although there were some obstacles along the way, Tzu Chi volunteers believe that with determination and through word of mouth, these words of wisdom will be spread far and wide.
The Tzu Chi Canada chapter in Vancouver's Marple Place neighborhood was invited to attend Marple Day this year. Besides promoting Tzu Chi Academy to community residents, Tzu Chi volunteers also hope to share the Buddhist NGO's work and ideals with their new neighbors. Capturing the stories on the posters with a camera, Tzu Chi volunteers invited to attend Marple Day in Vancouver patiently explained to passers-by and their new neighbors of the organization's work and philosophy. The bamboo coin bank that collects well wishes catches some of the children's attention. And learning Mandarin seems to interest the youngsters too.
Tell your mom that you are willing to study Chinese and are welcomed at our school.
As a new semester is about to begin at the local Tzu Chi Academy, parents gather around the Tzu Chi booth to inquire about the classes. Treating every child as their own, Tzu Chi volunteers in Canada not only hope to call on more bodhisattvas to join their ranks, but also vow to work with other charity organizations in spreading love to all corners. We go back to Malaysia at the end of the show to help the 14,000 new members to Tzu Chi in June and July learn more about the Buddhist NGO. Tzu Chi volunteers in Kuala Lumpur and Selangor organized a blessing ceremony for the auspicious 7th lunar month and passed on the message of gratitude and filial piety. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.